Hello, survivors, and welcome to another episode of Will You Survive?
The podcast.
I am your host, Erik, and I'm joined by my co-host.
I'm Alex.
And today, I'm throwing a surprise at you. I didn't actually watch either of the movies, but I actually did have something planned for this, and I knew I was going to do this, which is why I didn't watch the movies. So it was intentional, but it was also a little bit of laziness. I thought that we've watched enough movies. We know what a real zombie should be like.
Yes.
So in this episode, we're going to take an hour to decide what the official WYS Zombie would be like. And I've written down some criteria for us to go over and discuss and curate our perfect zombie. Now, we have to set a standard right off the bat.
Okay.
Are we trying to come up with the coolest zombie, the most realistic zombie, or like the zombie we hope would happen? What kind of zombie are we creating here?
I always like to go with, we'll say, the most realistic zombie.
Okay, I'm down for it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I got some good ones here. First things first, what will infect people? Is it a fungus, a virus, a bacteria? Is it chemical? What would be making zombies here?
Maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's because of all the lore that exists. I'm stuck in a viral world.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I guess I also didn't add maybe spiritual. If we want to talk like
the
Day of the
paranormal.
Or Dawn of the Dead.
Right. Well, I mean, I pulled out the zombie survival guide because it is like the most well-written documentation of what a zombie could be, how it could happen, how it would preserve the corpse, why the corpse wouldn't rot, why the corpse wouldn't go through things like rigor mortis, how it could continue moving about for seemingly ages without decomposing, not rapidly at least. Like it would take an extended period of time. A lot of the other things, I mean, I would definitely love to go through some of these different variations, because we've seen some people do it. Like The Last of Us went viral or went fungal, and that was pretty creepy because it was like hive mind.
Yeah, that's the worst part about them. And the idea that spores infect, if you follow the game's logic, we're all screwed at that point.
You know, I would have to take, I think it was your grandma's approach to horror. Just fucking die.
Yeah, at that point.
That one is insane. I haven't played the game, but I did, because you talked about it so much. I did go on YouTube and I watched some gameplay. And I mean, God, I think the guy was playing it on what was the hardest level? Not veteran, but that's like Call of Duty style.
Yeah. I played The Last of Us. I was dog sitting for a weekend. And
that was the one you were talking about that I thought of.
One of the girls, she owned the game on the PlayStation, so I decided to play it because I never played it. And I played it. I was choosing my difficulty, and I was like, I could do hard, right? Like there's easy, normal, hard, and I think there was one more, like maybe nightmare or something like that. And I was like, I could do hard. I've played games before. I know how to play. Oh my God, the hardest experience ever. I never had ammo. The entire game, I never had more than a full clip. The entire game. It was a miserable experience.
We had almost this exact conversation before, and the first thing that you make me think of when you say that is the original Resident Evil.
Yeah. But the thing is, in this game, you had to kill the zombies.
Right.
So it wasn't like you were supposed to just use your ammo to stun them and run away. You had to kill these guys, but I never had any ammo to kill these guys. Oh my God. It made you use the bricks and the bottles and everything so much.
That's a good one. The other one I've never played. I really don't get to play too many games anymore, but I think I would really enjoy what I think is the World War Z game.
Oh, it's basically Left 4 Dead, but crazier. Yeah.
It's even crazier.
Yeah.
So, because I loved those games. Those were like some great memories. I remember, so I liked Left 4 Dead. I liked Dead Island. But that other one that they came out with a part 2 that you were very disappointed in.
Dying Light.
Dying Light.
Yeah.
That first one was just incredible,
man. Oh, man. I would give anything to go back to that time when I was grinding that game. That game was so much fun. I could not stop playing it. And the second one was such a freaking letdown.
That's a bummer. I hate when that happens, when you're so built up and you're like just ready to go, you know, like I just can't wait to do this. And then like the one game that I really want to go back to, I don't have it here. I think you have it. The Assassin's Creed, the At the Sea one that you're a pirate.
Oh, dude, I have that on my PC right now.
Do you?
Yeah, Black Flag. That's an
Black
incredible
Flag. Dude,
Assassin's Creed.
I love that game. You have no idea how
That's
much
like
I
the last
love the
good
ocean.
one.
Like, and the graphics were so damn good. I was just like, dude, the only thing that would make that better for me is if I could do that in VR or real life.
Oh no, I don't know if there's a VR well, there might be. I don't know. But you're right. That was an incredible game. I actually recently went back and grinded that game a bunch and played it.
You know, another really good version of quote unquote zombie. This is technically not zombie, more infected, like 28 Days Later. Doom. Good old Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on Mars. Sure. That was also genetic manipulation.
So that was another route I was thinking is, what do you think is more realistic? Do you think viral is realistic, or do you think some sort of like chemical or biological weapon, something like that?
If we're talking about actual zombie, by the classification that we've stated, dying, like the human being has flatlined, they have lost all heart activity and all brain activity for an extended period of time. In many of these cases, it's been as little as 4 hours, as much as 12 hours, or even a day. And if we're going by that strict definition, I think it's more than genetic modification. It's more than a mutation, right?
Okay.
It's not like 28 Days Later where they're getting infected. That was like a rabies, it was rage. It was a rabies type virus where the person just loses all control over their body, and they just become extremely violent toward everybody and everything. Now, what I really wish we could have seen a little more of in 28 Days Later, which would have made it even better, is if those infected would also attack each other. Because there's nothing.
They didn't attack each other.
I don't know that you're not infected. I wish I would see them like getting pissed off at each other, and that could have given our heroes our protagonists some plot armor.
That's really a good point, though, because like, unless they could just tell they were infected, in which case their whole intention was to just infect. But I don't think that was the case. Their intent was just to kill.
That was where they went in World War Z.
Yeah, which that is later on down the list. So where are we landing here? Because I kind of think realistically, rage is more likely something that would happen if we're talking like a kind of zombie-esque thing. But if we want to go, you're right, those aren't zombies. So if we want to go down zombie route, I want to say fungus, but I do think viral would be more likely.
Well, see, okay, because fungus is very real. Zombies caused by fungus in nature is real.
Yeah, but for humans, it's not quite there. It would have to be a freak of nature.
Yes, or some type of a modification, which we don't have to throw that out entirely, because if somebody could modify a fungus to be able to withstand up to 105 degree temperature, because your body will have a fever
itself, yeah.
And it'll kill itself with that. But if it could withstand the temperature of our bodies and invade and withstand the fever, it would be fine. But right now, fungus is too delicate. It can't survive that kind of heat. And, it's just another one of those magnificent things of the human body, that we have this amazing machine that is designed to do this. That's why bacteria tends to kill humans more than viruses, because...
Well, bacterial was another one I had on my list, which isn't really explored in any of the zombie movies we've watched.
I don't know how it would quite work, but I don't pretend to even be relatively smart in a bacterial form. So, I don't know what they could be.
I feel like we're teetering between fungus and viral.
Yeah, I mean, I can be persuaded into the fungal realm if we can get over the temperature.
I like fungal because who's to say there isn't some human involvement?
I mean, yeah, nobody, and I would not mind altering my book to, I mean, because that's a pretty good foundation that's already been laid. I've even thought of the different. Let me say, I don't want to veer off too far here, but I'm not even throwing out the idea of like an mRNA gone bad.
Okay.
So I have ideas. I've been questioning people. There's a couple of PhDs that I speak to that I was asking, what's the reality of these different things? And there's some precedent for sickness, definitely. Some precedent for major side effects. Nothing quite like what I'm talking about. So we would have to make some leaps, you know.
But I mean, I think at a certain point when you're writing a zombie novel, you're going to have to break away from real life at a certain point. You try to get as close as you can.
I think I that's why I like a lot of these zombie movies that we've watched. I haven't read enough books to be able to say that this is conclusive. I won't try to say that I know what they do in literature. I watch more movies than I read books, which is really kind of a bad thing to say for me. I like reading, so it sucks that I don't read more. But in the movies, they just don't answer the question. It just happened.
Mm-hmm. You can't get away with that in a book.
No.
Not as easily anyways.
And like World War Z, I loved the approach of that because it was after the fact. The guy's going around and interviewing everybody. So there's this survivor and he was in this battle, and all of the battles were, of course, of World War Z. And so that was how they got away from really delving into how it all started. It was all speculative. Well, we think it started, and everybody traced it back to China, traced it back to the black market of harvesting organs. Mm-hmm. And that was it, though. There was no like, it was this precise virus, except for coming from the Zombie Survival Guide, the Selenium virus. And I think it's pretty ballsy to go straight that route. But this guy wrote this book, the Zombie Survival Guide, and it almost accompanies World War Z. Not exact, but close. You know, there's some pretty cool stuff with how it would have happened viral. I love the approach that he takes. Why does the zombie not decay? Well, because of the virus. The virus is such a little badass that even the bacteria of the world that naturally feed off of human flesh, decomposing human flesh, they look at that virus and they're like, nope, not touching it.
That's kind of what I like about the fungus idea, is that fungus kind of takes that same route where it's like you're not completely decaying because you're kind of being regrown with fungus. Yeah, you remember what the Last of Us zombies look like?
Yeah.
Like most of their head would like fall away or would be like split by this fungus that was erupting from them. So that kind of explains why the bodies would still be intact. It's because they're kind of growing.
So yeah, I can't say that I have any kind of problem with it. I wasn't too familiar with it until I watched the series, and which I really enjoyed. I liked how they took that approach, and I loved the different variations. I mean, it was very Resident Evil-esque in that there were different levels of zombies, you know, and it was definitely, you could tell they brought it out from a video game because there were quote unquote bosses. Yeah, so like there were more badass zombies than others. Yeah. The ones that I tended to be more anxious about, even though they didn't really make us too afraid of them, were the ones that screamed, but they were like, they could hear you like
the clickers
super fucking well.
Oh no, they make clickers really scary in the game too. Clickers,
Did they?
Yeah. Oh man,
the anxiety that
they one shot you, so you have to sneak up on them.
And then, do you remember what the zombies were in Dying Light?
I believe it was viral.
Because that was also because there were so many of them. Yeah, like
so they had a screamer.
What was the one at night?
Oh, volatile.
Volatile. That was the one. That was that for me. I could not get away from that anxiety feeling.
We're getting further down my list, so let's move on.
Okay.
So we've decided fungal.
I think let's pursue fungal.
Okay.
And that's why I don't think zombies would ever be a real threat.
I agree, because...
Whoa, I'll get my kukuri.
Wait. I think he's saying something.
Zombies don't talk.
Just wait a sec. What was that?
You need a loan? What, are you going to buy a house?
What do you need a loan for?
I think he wants to buy a home. Don't we know someone who can help him with that?
Yeah, we do. Have you heard of Corinne Salas at Next Home Grandview in Glendale, California?
Mm-hmm. She can help you get moved into your forever home now.
Your eternal resting place, if you will. Or forever home. That works. Don't miss the opportunity of a lifetime like this guy. Call Corinne today at 714-510-6443. You can also find her on Instagram at Next Home by Corinne or visit her website at corinnesalas.nexthomegrandview.com. That's CORINNESALAS.nexthomegrandview.com.
Not food.
Okay, second, how does one get infected? Particularly, I think we could both agree bites are a guaranteed.
Yep.
Now the question becomes scratches and blood. So do scratches infect first things first? Personally? Yes. Oh, I was going to say no.
Really?
I was going to say no. I think that's really dumb because I could see saliva and blood infecting you. What the hell's under your fingernail that's going to...
Spores.
Oh, we're talking fungal. Oh my God, you're so right. Yeah. Okay, well with fungal zombies I could see scratches. I was still thinking viral.
Scratches and bites.
Yeah. That's tough. Blood obviously, right? If you get blood on an open wound, 28 days later you're done.
I think you've got a really, really good shot of being done if you get blood. Now, the body is great in the sense that usually when you get a cut, something like that, it's positive pressure. So stuff doesn't go in, it goes out, but we're talking about how big of a wound. Just a little scar, a little scratch, maybe not. You might be able to clean, dress, and survive that. Big wound, stab wound, like large lacerations, large abrasions where chunks of skin have been pulled off you. No, you're done. You're infected.
So what about blood in the eye, like in 28 days later?
Does
that infect?
I think it has to. I mean, Jesus,
think so too.
if you get something on your hand and you rub your eye right, you're gonna get sick.
Yeah.
You touch your nose, your face, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, you're done. Like it's gonna get into your bloodstream.
Okay, so very unforgiving is how we're going.
But I would say that would definitely be, if I was writing that chapter, oh man, I would make that like the longest drawn out infection. So almost like, oh, they're going to be fine. Nothing's going to happen. Look, it's been this long. Well, nothing's happened, but it's just a little bit that got in.
You just moved on to my next point. Infection time. And would a bite, scratch, or blood be different? I think so too.
I do.
I think so. How fast do you think bites would do?
I think bites would be the fastest.
So are we talking like World War Z fast, like within seconds in Philadelphia?
I think bite, think of the neck, think of the femoral artery, the inner thigh. I beg your pardon, I forget what the name of it is.
Wait, so you're saying it also depends on where you get bit?
I think so. I think if you get major artery or major bite. So like, for instance, if somebody gets you on the hand, but they get like a lot of flesh, a lot of your meat off of you, I think that's just quantity of infection pouring into your body. Right? Whereas if we're talking about...
Isn't it positive pressure though? I'm kidding.
Only so much.
Yeah. You got a chunk of your hand missing. You're like, it'll be all right. It's pushing out.
Yeah. There's still some circulating. So what I'm thinking is infection time would vary based on type of injury. So I would go bite would be the worst. It would be the fastest infection time. Well, let me clarify. Okay. Lethal bite would be the fastest, right? And you would go down from there in lethality. So the less lethal the bite, the longer it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And you would go out of the bite category and into the scratch category. And
You
out
think
of the,
scratch before blood?
well, there would be some overlapping there. There would be some blood contamination that would be on par with some scratches.
So yeah, I think severe blood contact would be above a scratch, and I think right around like moderate.
Can I clarify scratch? Because I don't want to just think like I
No,
got
like
an itch
break
and I
skin.
scratched and I broke skin.
Well, no, like that's what I mean. Like break skin. Like a zombie went to
But I
grab
want-
your leg and you pulled away.
I want to
and
be a little more descriptive. Like we're talking about the viciousness that we've seen in some of these movies where like maybe they grab flesh and like penetrate and rip chunk off.
Well, that's
That
not.
would
No,
be-
I'm not even talking. We can include that, but I think that's a guaranteed infect.
Right.
I don't even think that's in the
Right.
question. I mean, like zombie grabs your leg and you pull away, and they get like one fingernail just scratches down your leg.
See, okay. And here's where I would like to be a little more picky, right? Because if you're wearing, jeans,
But it breaks skin. You're bleeding. You're not like pouring blood, but like it would be the equivalent of like you walked past some chicken wire and it scratched your leg and you're like, ah, I was getting into a car, a zombie grabbed my leg and scratched my leg.
So-
do you get infected from that?
I see that's where I want to be a little more critical of that because I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so through clothes.
If we're talking,
Because even what you're saying, there's a rational explanation for it because those metal splinters are able to penetrate your jeans. Fingernails are too broad. They don't get through. Even though I understand what you're saying, even though somebody gets you, like a dog has done it to me through my jeans. Skyla did it. She would get so excited and she'd jump on me and she would get me and scratch me through my jeans, right? And
she would rip your skin.
it would not always, but there was one time I'm thinking of where like she was super excited and she jumped up on me and it was just that perfect scratch,
Mm-hmm.
And out of the the three, they have the three nails. One of them actually broke skin. It was like a welt that some of the skin was rubbed off on, right? But I don't think that was because her nail did it. I think her nail pressed my jeans and ripped my skin.
So I would agree that wouldn't infect, but I think in most cases, like that's I think kind of rare to actually get cut like a scratch through jeans. I don't think that would be super common.
Which is why I think it would be more common for somebody, even a zombie, for them to grab on. I think especially for a zombie, grab onto your leg through a thick material like jeans. Now I keep saying jeans because if we're wearing like your material right there, like a softer flannel or like trousers, I think that's possible. I think you could get through that. You can easily rip that material.
Well,
I use
sure,
jeans
yeah.
because they're really tough.
But so I'm just talking like scratch. Let's go to hands. Let's say, for instance, a zombie grabs your hand while you're trying to run, and scratches your hand.
Yeah, that's where I think it's possible. I don't
So
think
you don't think it's guaranteed.
right.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting.
Because I think it depends on the severity, how deep the wound is, how many wounds. Was it like every nail clawed into the person, just barely one of them?
Let's say one of them just ripped a good like 2-inch scratch,
I think that's
a thin 2-inch scratch. If it wasn't an infected, you would think nothing of it. You'd be like, I scratched my hand.
I think if you're able to treat, right, which everything is all the same, virus, bacterial, fungal, there's stuff that can kill it that we just can't put in our bodies. So if we can catch it on the outside, we're okay. Rubbing alcohol, vodka would even work for that. So if you were to treat it quickly, I think you would be fine. It would never even get into your bloodstream with positive blood flow, blood pushing out of your small little scratch. I think it's possible that you can avoid infection.
Now, going off of kind of a similar thought process, could we follow World War Z logic and could you chop off your arm to prevent further spread if you're fast enough?
I think that's sound.
I think so too.
I think that's
actually agree
logical.
with that. Now, How fast does it spread through the body? Does that also depend on the amount that you're exposed to?
Yeah, that it would have to. We would have to be able to time out how fast does the blood pump through that part of the body, and of course where it is.
Now, what's the range? Are we talking about like, oh, well, you could be infected in 2 minutes or 2 weeks, or like what's the range that we're talking here? Like from the least severe, but you will still be infected, to the most severe, the fastest you can become infected.
Well, I guess if we're talking about like amputation, the infection rate, it all depends on where you're affected. So if you're talking about the hand, we would have to study how fast will the blood pump into your hand, and let's start at the wrist, right? So the blood that's pumping through your arm gets to your wrist, from your wrist into your hand to the wound, back out, up through your arm, back into your body. How long would that take?
Well, that's what we're making up right now.
That's what I'm trying to think of out loud here is how long would that take, and because for the purpose that we're talking about, just like in World War Z, where he was counting and he chopped her hand off and she was fine. Like that was pretty instantaneous. He did that fast.
Which I don't think most people would be that fast to do something like that.
What was the other one we saw? That was The Walking Dead, when they hacked off Herschel's leg.
Yeah.
Rick did that like super fast. You know, the other thing that I thought was really freaking disgusting about that was that blade was so gross. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had been using that to hack zombies apart. Like, how did that?
Wait, isn't that how Shane got infected? Oh no, Shane turned because everybody was infected.
Everybody was infected, and Rick killed him.
Yeah. Okay. So, infection time will vary, but have we come to a conclusion?
I will say, you want to go extremes?
Yeah.
What's the shortest? What's the longest?
Yeah.
So
shortest, I'm gonna argue, would be World War Z within seconds.
10 seconds.
I would say 10 to 15 seconds would be the fastest it could happen. You get bit right in the neck, I think.
Lethal bite.
Well, we're talking fungus, though. It could take a second.
Yeah, I'm okay with, because I think the way I picture it would be a little more like Resident Evil, where they would die, the spores would still be replicating inside of the corpse, and so then the corpse would reanimate.
You almost have a time to dispose of the corpse before it turns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say shortest time, few hours.
To reanimation?
Yeah.
I think the shortest time could be minutes in certain conditions. The conditions being, think JD in Resident Evil.
Or he's bit like a bite.
All of them biting him all over his body.
Mm.
And for some reason, they leave him, still mostly intact, which I still don't get. But
there's so much science in this episode that we're thinking about that I was not thinking about when I wrote these questions. Okay, so you say within minutes.
I think it could be. I think
fungus takes a second. So I'm going to go with a few hours is what I think. Where would we meet in the middle? An hour?
Sure.
Okay, what's the longest you think? Well, I think the longest is kind of irrelevant to, I guess what matters more in that case is how long can you survive after a wound or after being exposed?
Well, so in those cases, we're talking about the fungus is the cause of death, right? The fungus is the cause of death as well as the cause of reanimation.
Yeah. So how long would it take for the fungus to kill a healthy, normal adult?
And we're going extreme. The longest it would take would be,
say, maybe
a normal, healthy human being. I would
3 days.
go upwards of I was going to say a day.
I was thinking if you got like a really minor scratch, maybe it takes a long time to really hit your body.
I'm just a sadist because I'd like to make people like agonize over this, because we could totally mess with your emotions by making your character survive. You think he's okay, and 3 days later, boom.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking is like it would be a really rapid decline really quickly.
Yeah.
because
But after a period of like, oh, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, because like right after someone gets scratched, I think that's what everybody's wondering is, are you gonna turn or
clutch my pearls? He's scratched. 3 days later, he's still doing okay. Or 2 days later, he's still doing okay. No, he's getting a little slow.
A small little cough.
He's a little sluggish.
But see, what I'm thinking is like, I don't know much about fungus. I don't know a lot about fungi, but I'm thinking like if it's just a few spores under the fingernail at first, it maybe takes a second to replicate and then replicate more and then replicate more until all of a sudden it's taking over.
Well, I think you just bring up a point in our head is the longer the corpse is active, the more there is fungus than human.
Oh, so turn faster once dead.
I think once they're dead, like the longer the zombie is reanimated, the more spores they have on them, the easier it will be for them to infect you, even with a small scratch.
So you think the longer that they are zombie, the more infectious they become?
Yeah, because the spores are just going to keep growing. They're not going to stop until they consume all of the flesh, which is their food.
That is kind of it. So could these zombies technically die if the fungus eats all the zombie? And like, what would the fungus do then? Would it still use the skeleton?
Would you say it's dead?
Well, because fungus feed off of dead things.
I guess, yeah. Once the corpse is completely consumed, it would no longer be mobile.
But I guess once it infects everybody, it doesn't really need to do that anymore, so it doesn't care.
Yeah, it won't care because it is. If you think of let me take you to like a patch of organic material. Usually, you'll see on a lawn, you'll see fungus growing because there's dead organic material underground.
I love when I see mushrooms in a lawn.
And you'll see one, and then the next day you'll see 2, 3, 4, 5.
They replicate quick.
What's funny is you go to the one that you saw first. If you track it, I actually do. When I see them, I leave them alone.
They're good for your soil.
They produce nitrogen. The only downside to them is, and I've noticed this. I don't know if you pay enough attention to lawns to see this, but if you look at a patch of mushrooms, you'll see when the mushrooms are gone, that patch is greener than all the rest.
That's funny
because it produces nitrogen and the grass gets richer. It gets richer soil from it.
So you got random dark patches.
Yeah, so you get these random like beautiful green patches. I'm like, dang it!
Just do it everywhere.
So yeah, you and that's the goal. Like what you should do when you first plant a lawn is you dig up everything. You mix in manure into the soil. You till it all together. You roll it nice and flat, and then you leave it. The manure will rot and it will create fungus. It will do its thing. It enriches the soil. This is best to do when you have dead, ugly soil that you can't do anything with, and it will enrich everything. And then all of a sudden, after about, I would say, as little as 2 weeks, you'll start to see earthworms. You'll start to see like that nice flat rolled soil will become undulated and uneven, and you'll start to see mushrooms grow. And once you get that, then you can till it again, roll it flat, and then seed. And then you throw some compost on top and overseed, and you're done. And then you're going to have a great, beautiful lawn.
Welcome to our lawn podcast where we talk about how to get your perfect lawn.
Or anything. That's a vegetable garden too. That's
pretty sick, actually.
You could do the same. I mean, you could do this with your own material from your garbage. You compost your own stuff. You mix in all of your green waste, everything that food waste, if you will. You get yourself a composter. You can throw everything in there, and with just a little bit of water, a little bit of moisture, and it's usually a nice big black barrel that is sitting out in the sun, and it rots in that barrel. And every now and again you go and you turn it over, and in a very short amount of time, depending on how much stuff you put in it, how broken down the material is before you do it, you can have absolutely usable compost in as little as 4 weeks, depending on what you put. If you put chicken bones and beef bones, it's going to be longer. But if you have a yard, you can do this by digging a hole and throwing all of your stuff in there and then covering it up and let it sit. You come back and you dig it up when it's done.
Cover it with like a tarp, or how covered is
a tarp is great. A black tarp is wonderful because you just get it
retains all the heat.
Yeah,
and lets it rot.
I mean, it'll stink.
Yeah,
you know, it's
well,
best.
It's a compost pile, so
that's why if you live in an urban area, you want to get a composter because it'll hold the smell in and it's not so apparent to everybody.
If you're rural though, just
dig
a couple 100 feet away from
dig a hole a little bit, dig a little bit up, and then cover it up where you fill everything, throw it in. You give yourself a limit. Like once I get to this level, I stop using this compost and I stop using this hole. I move over to this hole, and you keep doing that and you have your own compost over and over and over again. In my case, I don't use any food waste, but I do use paper. I use green waste. So like lawn clippings, leaves, branches, small branches, like twigs, right? And I have a tiller, and I just take the tiller and I run it over this every now and again. And about once a year, I take regular, like just straight nitrogen. It's I forget the name of it. You could get it at Home Depot. Ammonium sulfide. I forget. I forget. I get it all the time, but I can't remember the name of it. And but it's just straight nitrogen. So it's like, if you look at the fertilizer code, it's 1200. So there's no potassium, there's no phosphates. And you just throw that on the compost pile about once a year. And I have about 14 square yards of compost that I can use on the gardens all the time.
So if we were to kill one of these fungus zombies on a lawn, do you think it would get really pretty?
No,
you think
because these are a different kind of fungus.
Oh man.
So if we go out into a forest, I could show you the most toxic types of fungus, and they don't grow underground. They don't grow on a like on the lawn. They don't grow like normal fungus. They'll grow on the tree.
Oh, so they're sucking life from the
tree. And the tree's alive, but they're still like they're pulling life out of it.
Isn't that like the toadstools that grow on the side of it?
It can be, yeah. And like the most toxic ones are usually the different colored ones. The usual white colored fungus, and I'm so sorry, I'm colorblind, so I don't know the colors of them. But I think the general ones that you see on lawns are white. Yeah. Shut up.
It's like a brownish white. Yeah.
Brown, like a little darker than cream.
Mm-hmm.
And so those ones are whatever. I wouldn't recommend eating them, but you can grow like button mushrooms in a similar fashion, right? I don't know how they grow portobellos, but those things are weird. They're so big.
Yeah.
Those are humongous. I've even seen this TikTok video that I want to try. I want to try this so bad. It's a portobello mushroom cap burger. So you make your burger, and then you use the portobello mushroom caps as the buns.
Yeah, I don't like mushrooms that much, so that sounds horrible.
Oh my God,
not
I love mushrooms.
I like mushrooms, but not that much.
And they're really good for you, which hurts my heart that we're doing spores, fungus.
Because these are not good for you?
Yeah, because they're usually really good for you.
So how good would this be for the zombies, though? And by that I mean, how fast are they?
I would not expect them to be very fast.
No?
No.
So not The Walking Dead. The Last of Us, their zombies could be pretty fast. They could run. Do you think our zombies could run?
I think our zombies could.
Or is it like a fresh and old thing?
It is a fresh and old thing. And I think that the fresh ones could. I'm not going to go as far as saying World War Z or Dawn of the Dead fast.
So not sprint.
They're not going to sprint. They're not going to haul like that. But they can. I think they do like that. It sounds goofy to say like skipping. That's not quite what I mean.
Oh, like, yeah,
but
okay.
It's like they're moving faster than walking, right? They're definitely going faster than walking.
Like you can outrun them, but you actually have to run.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think they would be able to do as they're fresh.
Okay.
The older they get and the more the spores take over and consume the body, the slower they get and the more, shall we say, clumsy.
Sure.
Like they'll be able to fall over quite easily.
So along the same lines, but not the same thing. I purposely separated these out. movement capabilities, such as think like #alive. Remember that zombie that would kind of like just flew himself over the fire truck, and the one that climbed up,
Yep.
the ones that tried to open doors.
Yep.
Can our zombies open doors? Do they remember basic function? Will stairs be a problem for them? What are we thinking?
I think, again, the earlier, the fresher they are, the more that they have a chance of simple things like remembering how to open doors.
So like The Walking Dead.
Yeah. But we're
Okay.
talking about like those we were shown, like that's hours or maybe a couple of days worth of time. And
Okay.
then after that, they just kind of become, we'll say, if I can, they'll be fully consumed.
Brain dead.
Yeah, like now it's the fungus controlling them. They
Now,
don't have any independent thought.
how close are we thinking these are to the Last of Us fungus zombies? Because I think those ones had some sort of intelligence.
Well,
Although
okay,
I don't know if
okay.
we ever saw them open a door as much as bash through a door.
Well, and that might be more realistic. We might see them trying to break down a door versus like grabbing a knob. But then again, I think if we're actually smart, we're locking the door.
I agree, but I mean, if enough of them, like let's say we lock my door,
They're pushing
that's
through.
a flimsy wooden door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, on the topic of them getting to the door, how noisy are they? Could they sneak up on us? Are we talking like the night eats the world? Or they're silent? Or, because they're fungal, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that they're noisy. But
what makes them noisy?
I would say that with a fungal infection, I would say that maybe the fungus is keeping the body breathing.
So the fungus is using the oxygen.
Or maybe the fungus
Or the carbon
doesn't
dioxide.
completely destroy the body, but maybe it uses what it eats with its body to feed.
It would eventually have to consume the entire body because it's its fuel.
Well, but what if it's using what it eats? It infects a zombie, right? Or it infects a person. They become an infected. What if whatever that infected eats is what's fueling that fungus to keep going? Because it wouldn't want to kill its host.
It's organic material. Yeah, but I mean, most parasites do kill their host, and fungus just consumes the organic dead material. So I mean, it's ripe for.
Oh, but if you're eating humans, that's not dead material. Not yet.
Well, it's dead once you bite it off. It starts dying.
Yeah, I don't think fungus would attack it. Well, maybe this is very violent fungus. I guess it would be, but I don't think it would attack that early. Do you? Like, you just bit it off of the bone of a person. Do you think the fungus is already like, yep, it's dead?
Well, what if we thought of it like this? The host is being consumed by the fungus, and the only way to stop the consumption is by consuming flesh for the fungus to consume.
So you're saying the fungus turns you into a cannibal before it takes you over?
You're already being taken over, and you're feeling the fungus consume you.
Oh, that's horrible. And so, in order to try and stop it, you become a cannibal?
But we have a conundrum here, because if I want to go that route with this, the host has to still be alive.
Yeah.
But imagine feeling that agony, that you are being eaten alive, which we do have a conundrum here, because the fungus, the zombies that are created in nature by fungus are still alive at the first.
So do you think that would be the case where people wouldn't be dead, but they'd be taken over and maybe not even know?
Yeah. I mean, imagine.
That adds a whole psychological effect.
You just look at the zombie wasps, right? Or the zombie mantis, or the zombie ants.
Yeah.
Like they don't know that they're being maybe they do know. I don't know what it is.
I do think that most people would be very in denial about being infected. And I think a lot of people would be willing to overlook, like, I don't feel great. I don't feel like myself. And would get to a point where they've been taken over in their mind, and they they had no
Can I make this
control.
funny for a minute? It popped into my head right now as we're talking about this. Venom.
Venom. Kinda.
Food.
Are you talking about the new Venom?
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
So it infects its host, right? And it consumes the host. Talks about all of the parts inside of his host. He's like, lungs, stomach, brain, pancreas. And he wants to eat humans. And the host is like absolutely disgusted because he finally finds a host that he didn't want to kill right away. And his whole plan when he got here was to recon Earth and then send back for his kind, and they were going to invade Earth and kill everybody. He just needed the right host to get it done. He found his host, but then he ended up liking his host. So he ended up helping humans instead of killing them all. But it's very interesting because he kept saying, he was like, I have a parasite. And Venom got really upset about that. Parasite? Apologize. No, you are. But I mean, I think that way because he was consuming his host. So I think just like this, imagine it's consuming you. Now in that one, he didn't know. He just knew he was not feeling well.
So that's what I think would happen.
That's what.
And I think a lot of people would be willing to be in denial about that.
Right.
So
until you figured it out. But then I think you're right. No, I'm fine. I mean, shit, I would be so screwed.
Because
I would be so screwed. No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I feel like
I'm fine. Oh my God, I'm sick.
Yeah. So we think they'll be noisy.
I can go with that, although I really like the idea that they're silent stalkers.
Yeah.
I do, only because if they're dead. Now we're going back and forth here because
I think silent makes sense for viral, but I think
it makes sense for both because
particularly
if it's
for fungus, it has more of an alive kind of feel to it, even though it's by nature of being a zombie, it's dead. But fungus is alive.
Does fungus use oxygen or carbon dioxide?
Does fungus use either? Does it have to?
I'm pretty sure it does. Fungi can only live and grow if they have food, water, and oxygen.
So they would breathe.
Would breathe.
That is so interesting. So they would be noisy. Whoa! Fungus was a cool choice. Okay.
So they'll be noisy. They'll be disgusting.
So that we agree that the fungus kind of takes over and has the body functioning as if it was alive, even though it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like using a puppet.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
All right. So that kind of leads into the next question. What's the intelligence level of these zombies? And that kind of goes into movement capabilities, but like when I say intelligence levels, also movement capabilities, we didn't really talk about this. I put on there the ant climb, like in World War Z.
Okay.
Where they climbed like ants on each other.
Yep.
And also tool usage. Could a zombie pick up a rock and throw it at a window? Because we've talked about how even primal animals have a certain level of problem solving, but at what point is that too much?
Well, again, I think we have some precedent in some other shows where they did the same kind of thing early on. Early on, there seemed to be more of a semblance of memory, which would allow for something like that, like a problem-solving, critical thinking. It would not be very sophisticated at all, but I think pick up a rock and hit a window. But I think if we were consistent, we would say pick up a rock and hit a wooden door because you don't know the difference. You're just trying to get through. But I do think there would be in the beginning some semblance of problem solving.
I could see in the beginning because you're still a little more human.
There's still brain matter.
Yeah, when you're first infected. But I think more likely it would be slam yourself into a door or slam yourself into a window, not using another tool because, again, they're dead. They don't feel anything.
Right.
What does it matter to them?
Right.
I think no intelligence level, to be honest. But I do think I agree that maybe with this particular
Let me say it this way.
Beginning.
Doing something in a problem-solving manner by accident would be far more common than a thought-out problem solved.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think any zombie is going to pick up a rock and then use that for anything, because that involves a thought of like, I'm going to pick up this rock to do something. And that's not the case. Maybe if a zombie was infected while they were holding a hammer, they just so happen to still be holding the hammer. But I don't even think they think to really use it.
Yeah.
It's more just a flinging of arms type thing.
Kind of like Resident Evil, where that one carrying the axe was just carrying the axe.
Yeah.
He wasn't interested in using it.
Well, or like the freaking... so I recently started replaying Resident Evil 6 with TJ. It's such a shit game. I love it to death. I love that game, but oh my god, it's so bad. Zombies walk out of an ambulance with guns and just throwing their hands up in the air, and the guns are going off, and they like randomly go off around you. It's the dumbest stuff ever. So to kind of wrap this up, I have one more. Well, sorry, I have two more. We kind of started touching on this, and I cut you off. Mutations.
Yeah.
Do we think there would be mutations? I think with fungus.
I'm biased. I need them.
Yeah.
I need them. I want some of the scariest creatures.
Even realistically, you think it's likely that there would be mutations with the fungus?
Well, okay, to be honest, I don't know enough about fungus. I don't think a particular fungi will mutate, because if we're talking like the way The Last of Us did it, it was all linked to one, right? And one of the fungus maps, fungal maps of the world had showed like most of North American continent is covered by a singular fungus spore. And it's like, I don't know how.
Well, not a singular spore.
Or
I know what you mean.
A singular fungus.
Like, it's all connected. It's all one hive.
All of it is one. And it's so wild that it's not above ground. It's all underground. But it's there, even though you don't see it. Well, you can dig it up.
They're there in real life. Fungal maps, if you look them up.
Yeah.
They pretty much cover the entire Earth.
All
the ground.
Matter. Yep. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've buried humans everywhere.
Yeah.
So animals die and just drop, and that's all going to be fungus.
I personally think realistically, not likely, but mutations are very cool in video games. But I think if we're creating a zombie that we would have to actually face, I think it's already scary enough.
True, because it would still be, we'll call it like a hive mind controlled. They all have the same thought, right? All of these zombies, even though they're not physically connected, they all have the same purpose. They all have the same drive, and that would be scary enough.
Going back just really quick to clarify something on the how to infect spores, I think we both agree yes.
Mm-hmm.
How fast? Is it like, oh shoot, I got one good whiff, now I'm infected? Or what's your grace period on before you have to have a gas mask on or you're infected? Let's say I walk into an abandoned building, it's underground, we open a door and a wave of spores comes at us. I mean, geez. Are you infected?
If we're going that route of airborne spores, which was not what I was considering, I would, yeah, I mean, you're toast.
You think so?
You're toast. But I also think that if you were to open, like, if they were confined to a warehouse, if there was a whole group of them in there, the moisture of the human bodies would attract the spores. They wouldn't be just floating in the air. That would be dry. That would mean that's for reproduction, right? So there's no food for it to consume, and there's no water, so it goes airborne to reproduce. It's possible. That's a very good possibility. I think we would have to worry about things like opening up. We'll say opening up. I'm thinking like above ground, like a shed, like opening up a big shed that somebody had stored a bunch of these zombies in like Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
You would be in danger. That would be real bad. If you're out here by the ocean where it's moist, they're not gonna throw many spores off because the body's so moist. They want to stay. Everything wants to stay with the food and water.
Sure. Okay, I see that.
But again, when it comes to reproduction, it goes to casting out the spores. Like I am in danger of dying. So here it goes. I'm going to just throw out my spores so that way I can reproduce somewhere.
We interrupt this program to bring you breaking news.
A wave of fear has spread through the land as tax season approaches. There appears to be panic and unrest in the streets. We're getting word that 2 brave heroes have discovered a method for surviving the horror. They tell us that if you visit reliabletaxreturns.com, you will gain what appears to be immunity from the fear. Reliable Tax Returns will help you avoid the horror of this tax season. And if you mention Will You Survive the podcast, you'll get 10% off the cost of your return. Whether you're a full-time W-2 employee or a 1099 gig worker, they've got you covered. So avoid a horde of IRS agents and visit reliabletaxreturns.com and tell them Will You Survive the podcast sent you for 10% off the cost of your return. That's reliabletaxreturns.com. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
All right. So final question. Is there a cure for our zombie?
No.
I agree. I don't think there's a cure. I don't think I want to be cured if I'm
You know
infected.
what the cure is?
A bullet
Bullet
to
to
the
the brain.
Yep.
There's just no way you can come back from that. Your body has been consumed from the start. Your body has been consumed. If we had any kind of chance whatsoever in coming up with any kind of cure, it would have to be almost instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to, like, if we're talking Resident Evil style antifungal, right? So they had the what was it? The virus and the antivirus,
Mm-hmm.
and you found the antifungal medicine that will control it. See, you're going to still have a problem because antifungals don't eliminate the fungus. They just, stop it. They stop its spread. So you're going to live with a fungus for the rest of your life. It's just not going to control you. It's not going to take over your body.
Maybe you get superpowers from it.
We got to get Deadpool in on this.
Okay. Okay, so I think to sum up, we have fungus zombies, and depending on how you get infected, depends on how fast you will become infected and how fast you will die from that. They are faster the fresher they are, and they become more gradually slow as they decay more. Same with movement capabilities. Can they ant climb like World War Z zombies, or is that too much?
No, I think they could to an extent, not like World War Z zombies, but I think they could climb one on top of the other. It would be, I don't want you to think of it like they did in there where it was like an Olympic fashion, like just boom, climb one on top.
I think this would just be clumsy.
And I think we would see, they would kill each other in doing this. The weight of all of them on top would crush the ones underneath.
Yes, exactly.
But I don't think they would care because they all have the same goal to reproduce.
Is that the goal, or is the goal to eat?
The goal is to reproduce. We've got.
So these are like World War Z zombies, where they're not necessarily looking to.
The spore itself.
But if the fungus is what's controlling the body, then it would just be to bite and kill so that it could reanimate.
Well, I mean, no, I guess we have to. If we're talking about nature is twofold. A fungus in nature has two purposes: to eat, drink, breathe, so live in that capacity, and reproduce. Live and reproduce. Those are the two functions of a fungus.
So
those are two functions in the world. It would just
seek to infect.
Live and reproduce.
Interesting. Okay. They would also be noisy because they're semi-alive.
They would use our body.
Pseudo-alive?
Yeah, they're alive, keeping our bodies alive.
Intelligence level would follow movement capabilities and speed. It would be better the fresher they are, and it would gradually deteriorate. Mutations, probably not, but would be cool. And, of course, no cure. Womp womp. Cool. I think we really set the record straight on what a zombie is. At least the official WYS Zombie. We stand by this. We will die on this hill. These are the zombies that will officially become the official WYS Zombie. And if you think differently, you're wrong. And that's just all I really have to say about that.
Because everybody is entitled to our opinion.
Exactly. I like that. I'm going to start saying that more. That's a good one. Cool. You want to hit them with our socials?
Socials. Okay, guys, please hit us up. Check out our Instagram and our TikTok and Facebook at Will You Survive the Podcast. You can also check us out on Pinterest. Sorry, blanked out there for a second. You got to check out our Pinterest boards.
You all right?
Yeah.
You being taken over?
No.
You
I'm
sure?
fine. I'm fine.
That sounds exactly like
I'm
something
fine.
somebody who's being taken over
I'm
would say.
absolutely fine.
That seems like a lie, but go on.
But if you're concerned, what you should do is go to our Pinterest boards and take a look, because all of this fear-mongering you're seeing all over the news right now, there's no reason to be afraid. Just be prepared. Get yourself some emergency food rations, some water purification pills, some plastic water bladders. Learn how to store your dry food so it'll last almost indefinitely, at least 25 years. Believe that. But you can check us out on Pinterest at Will You Survive the Podcast. And also, always, we love your emails by sending them to Alex and Erik at willyousurvivethepodcast.com.